Welcome to the Nevis Newscast for Friday, June 21st, 2024. I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. The Honourable Spencer Brand addressed the water situation on Nevis during his statement as Minister with responsibility for water services at the June 18th sit-in of the Nevis Island Assembly.
The present water situation on the island of Nevis, I believe all of us would agree, would wish for it to be a bit better. I would be the first to say that, Madam President. I'm a practical person, and I will not come and say to you that the sky is blue when there is an overcast condition. All of us would wish to see improvement in our water service. Madam President, there has been a steady increase in the request for water post-COVID. The island of Nevis, Madam President, would have stressed very heavily on greater food security here on the island of Nevis. We continue to see expansion in our agriculture sector, in our livestock production sector, and Madam President, we continue to see an increased consumption of water in the agriculture sector. Madam President, we also are seeing a very high utilization in the tourism sector at this time of the year, Madam President. The construction sector is also seeing, Madam President, increased consumption, all of which have put some additional stress on our system.
According to Minister Brand, the Nevis Water Department also faced other challenges but has begun to put measures in place to rectify the situation.
We have not sit idly by. It is something that we have wrestled with. It is something that we have looked at a number of options. We have considered desalination. We all know the cost implications with desalination. But, Madam President, I am happy to say to the people of Nevis that on the 14th of February, the Cabinet would have approved a drilling project here on the island of Nevis. We would have selected or identified a driller, water and oil well service company out of Trinidad and Tobago. We entered, Madam President, I think it was on the 10th of April, into a contract with water and oil well service out of Trinidad and Tobago. Madam President, that company is presently in the process of mobilizing to commence this drilling exercise here on the island of Nevis. They are scheduled to be on island in the first week of July, and they will commence drilling, Madam President, immediately on arriving on the island of Nevis.
Minister Brand says a number of sites have been identified for drilling.
We have identified camps, Madam President, Madden's Estate, Madden's Tank area, Hard Times, and Braziers as some of the immediate areas where the drillers will commence, Madam President. And we are expecting that the water that will be produced from the camps area will go directly into the Spring Hill tank and will be fed by gravity to the Jessops and then to the various areas, Madam President. So we are expecting, Madam President, that the drillers will be here early in July and commence drilling immediately. And we are expecting, Madam President, that over the next 2 or 3 weeks of their arrival here on the island of Nevis to have additional water here in our system, Madam President.
The Department of Youth 2024 Summer Job Attachment Program officially opened on Tuesday, June 18th with its professional development workshop at the Malcolm Gishad Recreational Park. Zanella Claxton, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education and Youth, declared the workshop officially open.
I want to remind you, wherever you go, whatever you do, stand out. Shine as brightly as you can. There are many of you in this room. And that means that each of you with your uniqueness has to present and has to shine so that persons can see something about you that is different. Know what you want to do and go for it. And if you don't know as yet, and I'm thinking not just career-wise, but generally, move with confidence. You see, some people call it fake it till you make it. I'm not saying that you should be pretenders, but move with confidence as you explore. The team at the Department of Youth and all of us can only deposit as much as we can into you. We can teach you, we can expose you, we can encourage you, but none of this would make a difference if you do not want it, if you do not use it, and if you do not act on it. It is indeed my pleasure to welcome all of you here once again and to declare the 2024 edition of the Summer Job Attachment Program officially open.
2023 intern Akida Nisbet gave a testimonial on behalf of Kalia Huggins Simmons, who was unable to attend.
This program created a lot of opportunities for me and many others, too many to even list. It boosted my patriotism, image, and character. And as a former participant of the program, I can stand here and testify on the many life-changing opportunities, skills, and experience I gained. This program sparked a lot for me, and to this day, I still use the traits that I learned. Because of this program, I'm able to tally college and a part-time job. I know I've said a lot, I come to my end now, but if it's one last thing I can say, and say for sure, is that the ESHA program not only gives you a job placement, but they see your strengths and help you build them in preparation for the many opportunities to come.
Director of the Department of Youth, Jamir Claxton, delivered the opening remarks. He spoke on the theme for the program, Roadmap to Empowering and Developing You Ready. He also encouraged the 70 participants to learn as much as they can and put it into practice. The chairperson for the opening ceremony was Alia Powell. The workshop ran for a period of 1 week. Following the training, the participants will engage in volunteer projects from June 24th to 28th. The official internship will be from July 8th to August 9th. Still to come.
Use these 2 weeks to be like a sponge. Soak up everything as much as possible. And you're going to use that information to build your foundation as a teacher.
The details after this break.
Celebrating culture, embracing history. It's Culturama 50. It's our heritage, that's how we live. Come fed with us for the 50th. We're doing it big. Pulsating sounds, masquerading clowns. String band and big drum will be taking over town. Cause we're celebrating culture, embracing history. It's Culturama 50. Culturama will celebrate its 50th anniversary from July 25th to August 6th, 2024. Come join us. Celebrating culture, embracing history. It's Culturama 50. Celebrating culture, embracing history. It's Culturama 50. Yeah.
Welcome back. 40 persons are participating in the Department of Education's 2024 Prospective Teachers course with the hope of joining the profession at the start of the 2024-2025 school year. This year's course is taking place from June 17th to 28th with the theme, Becoming the 21st Century Teacher, Mastering the Balancing Act.
During this course, we will take you through as much as we can in 2 weeks. As much information as we could share with you to prepare you for the prospect of being a teacher come September. We will go through some of the rudimentaries of lesson planning and classroom management and assessment and all of those things that you would expect to find out, because these are all of the things that your teachers do for you and that you will be expected to do as teachers. But we are also going to hopefully get to know each other a little bit and help to prepare you for the things that the textbook don't tell you about teaching. And so I want to encourage you to make the best of these 2 weeks, give the best impression, because as you're finished with the 2 weeks, we will then go back to our offices to try to determine which of you best suit the needs that we have. So this is your opportunity to give a 2-week first impression, and I want to encourage you to make it count.
Principal Education Officer Londa Brown gave the course overview, while the Honourable Troy Liburd made remarks as Minister of Education.
Over the next 2 weeks, the course might be intense. You might get a lot of, have to deal with a lot of new concepts and strategies and so on. Just remember, teaching is not only about that. The main thing about teaching is to be able to provide that spark in the young people so that they themselves would want to learn. Great teachers don't just impart knowledge or drill facts, but you make teaching an adventure. You make people want to learn. Education has the ability to change the world. Education has the ability to change lives, and education is what propels the world forward. And what I want to say to you is to be that spark that ignites a love for learning and knowledge in the young people that you come across. You hold the future in your classrooms. We want you to use these next 2 weeks to not just learn the mechanics, but to cultivate the passion for teaching and learning.
The opening ceremony also included reflections and encouragement from a participant in last year's Prospective Teachers course.
I got to experience the classroom not from a student perspective, but as a teacher perspective, which was very different for me. And I was honored to experience that, because that made me respect my teachers a little bit more, you know, because I see what they have to go through. Then we went on to the induction course, which was very helpful in my case. I then took that information and I brought it to my classroom, and it made things easier for me, you know. So use these 2 weeks to be like a sponge. Soak up everything as much as possible. And you're going to use that information to build your foundation as a teacher. So when you go into the classroom, you know, hey, I'm ready.
Janessa Keynes, a participant in the 2023 Prospective Teachers course. During the June 18th sitting of the Nevis Island Assembly, Minister of Agriculture, the Honourable Eric Evelyn, congratulated the top performers in the agriculture sector for 2023.
Our Livestock Farmer of the Year, Miss Idris Morton. Our Crop Farmer of the Year, Godwin Mike Brown. The Protected Agriculture Farmer of the Year, Mr. McLevon Truss. The Fisher of the Year, Mr. Lester Richards. And I also want to highlight the most throughput at the abattoir, Mr. Auricius Jones, because I think ever since we would have started giving this award, Mr. Jones, I think, is the one who would have won it every year. So I want to especially congratulate Mr. Jones as well.
The awardees were recognized at the Ministry of Agriculture's Staff Dinner and Awards ceremony at the Malcolm Guichard Recreational Park. It was the culminating activity for Agriculture Awareness Month in May. And that's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. Thank you for viewing.